If you have been thinking of investing in real estate in Nairobi, then this video is for you. My name is Wendy Ojiro. I'm a realtor based in Nairobi, and today I'll be talking about the frequently asked questions that I get from first-time investors. In this video, you'll get a rough idea of what you need to know to start you on your journey to owning real estate. So let's get into it. Is it better to buy or rent? This is a question that I get very frequently, and most people, especially who are buying to live in, always ask themselves, should I buy or should I rent? That is assuming that you can afford both. And the answer is, it depends on your stage of life and it depends on your personal situation. It doesn't mean that at any certain point you are obliged to own a home just because you can afford it or just because you have reached a stage where your friends and family are buying. It depends on your stage of life. Are you in a stage where maybe you're paying fees and a lot of your money is going into that? Are you in a stage where you want to be able to walk to work? Maybe you're a young person, you want to be able to be within 15 to 20 minutes of your workplace, to live close to your friends, to live close to entertainment joints. Are you in a stage of life that maybe you're planning to retire and you want to now buy a property? When you're deciding when to buy or rent, the most important thing is your stage of life and your lifestyle. Take your time to think about your personal situation and where you are. Are you ready financially, mentally, and is it the best decision in that moment? Because you see sometimes people, let's say, build a house in the outskirts of town and the children's school is still within the city, and then there's a lot of commuting. Or sometimes you buy a house and then because it's really far, then you end up going home so late and not spending enough time with your family. So buying or renting is entirely up to you based on your personal situation. The next question that I get is, why should I invest in real estate? Real estate is a good investment because, one, it's a hedge against inflation. Inflation in Kenya currently is at about 3% per annum. And typically, rent goes up in tandem with the rate of inflation. So you know that when you invest in real estate, at least your money will be hedged against inflation. It is also good for achieving your financial goals, which again varies with your stage of life. It could be retirement planning, it could be wealth building, it could be wealth preservation. And real estate is one of the best tools to build generational wealth. Because imagine you could buy a property today, which could be handed over to your son or daughter, and then your grandson and granddaughter, and several generations after you. And that is a way to leave your legacy behind. So as you buy real estate, there are many benefits apart from financial that will help you to achieve your goals, both financial and personal. What should be my main considerations when I'm investing in real estate? Should be market conditions, your budget, and your time horizon. Those are the main things that will determine when and where you invest in real estate. You should also think of your risk tolerance, and of course, the higher risk you take, the more benefits you will get. Can I invest in Kenya as a foreigner? The answer is yes. Kenya is open to foreign investment, and you have a variety of options how you can invest, whether it's as an individual, whether it's as a partnership, or as a company. I find registering as a company is the most tax efficient because if you're building a portfolio, then you can put all your properties under a company and run it properly as a business. And when you register a company, it doesn't have to trade. It can be a company based solely for this asset that you have bought. We'll do another video going further into the different ways you can own a property in Kenya and what are the advantages of both. But yes, you can own a property. It's a very fast process. 1 week, you just need your passport and a PIN from KRA, and you can buy a property. What is the ROI that I can expect from real estate when I invest in Kenya? When you invest here, you will get between 5% to 10% per annum for unfurnished properties. And for furnished properties, you will get between 12% to 15% per annum. When you look at all rates around the world, this is not a bad return per annum that you get in Nairobi. The next question is, how much do I need to buy a property? The good news is that Nairobi and its environs has a budget for everybody. So when we look at the luxury segment of the market, which is the uptown side of Nairobi, you will need between 5 million to 30 million for a property. So 5 million for your one bedroom, between 5 million to 7 million for a one bedroom, between 8 million to 14 million for a two bedroom, and then between 14 million to 30 million for a three bedroom. However, there are also affordable categories in the outskirts of the city where you can get a studio for as low as 2 million, a one bedroom as low as 4 million, and a three bedroom as low as 7 million. This entirely depends on your budget, where you'd like to live or where you'd like to invest in. There's something for every budget and every buyer that can enable you to join the property ladder in Nairobi. So do not shy away and think that investing in real estate is expensive, I need a lot of money. No, you can start with what you have from as low as 2 million. Then the other question that I get is, what are the fastest growing areas in Nairobi? That is especially for investors. If you're looking to invest, which are the locations that you should be considering right now? At the moment, we are looking at Kilimani, Kileleshwa, Lavington, Westlands, and Riverside when it comes to the upmarket areas, because these have high convenience, have good quality properties, and also offer a lifestyle component to both buyers and renters because of the social amenities that you get in those areas, easy access to the places that you'd like to go to. So these are places that we are seeing. We are in the point where the zoning has changed, so you're able to get a smaller property when before they were mainly building 3 bedrooms or family homes. Now we are at the point where you can buy a 1 bedroom in Westlands. You can buy a studio in Kilimani. Studios never used to exist in Kilimani. So we are at a point where the suburbs of Kilimani, Kileleshwa, Lavington, Westlands, Riverside are fast growing, and this is an opportunity for an investor to get into it because there's a lot of room for capital growth. Another opportunity emerging that would be good for investors, especially if you're on a budget, is the satellite towns of Nairobi. These are mainly Machakos County, Kiambu County, and Kajiado County. So this covers Ngong, Syokimau, Naivasha Road, and its environs. In these areas, you get an opportunity to invest from as low as 2 to 4 million. And these are areas that are fast growing. The population of Nairobi will continue to grow. And as it grows, people will continue to move into the outskirts of Nairobi. So if you're an investor, these are the places to think of. And always consider what is the access. When you're buying a property, always think of the location, the access, and the long-term potential for growth in that area. The other question is, what are the closing costs that you expect when you're buying real estate? Put an average of 7% of the purchase price. And unfortunately, this is a cost that a lot of people forget about when they're buying a property, but it's a substantial amount, so you need to plan for it. So the 7% is broken down into 4% for stamp duty, which you pay to the government, 2% for legal fees. So in Kenya, it is typical for the buyer to pay for both their lawyer and the seller's lawyer, and each party will charge you 1%. So 4% stamp duty, 2% legal fee, and 1% other costs. That will be like your water meter, your electricity meter, your service charge paid in advance. So whatever your purchase cost is, have at least 7% of that cost saved up, because it will be due immediately upon just before your property is handed over to you. Another very popular question that I always get: why should I invest in real estate when MMFs and bonds are giving me such superior returns? The answer is that as a prudent investor, you should always diversify your investments. So ideally, real estate should be one of your investments. So it doesn't mean when you take MMF, you can't take real estate and vice versa. It just means that you need to look at your portfolio, your risk appetite, and then divide your money to the different, allocate it to the different sections, so that you are well diversified and you can benefit from both. Because especially last year, we saw rates in MMF go up to 17%, when traditionally in real estate we get about 10%. So a lot of people were asking that. But the truth is, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. As an investor, you'll put some in stocks, some in bonds, some in MMF, and some in real estate. So let's say, for example, right now your worth is 20 million. You shouldn't take all that 20 million and put it in real estate. You can divide it. Put 5 million in bonds, put 5 million in one property, put 5 million in a different property. What I'm basically saying is that all this can coexist together, as long as you follow the investment principles that work best for you. But ideally, as an investor, just make sure you don't keep too much cash, because again, real estate is a good way to hedge against inflation. So there's no superior MMF, or there's no superior option. It's just a matter of allocating your money to the various asset classes so that you can make the maximum profit. And then finally, let's come to finance and taxes. What are my options for financing an investment when I'm in Kenya? So Kenya is mainly a cash-based society. If you're going to buy a property or build a property, most people are doing it in cash, because our mortgages are very expensive. Our mortgages rate from 14% upwards, which is very expensive, and a lot of foreigners are always shocked by these double-digit numbers. So mortgages are not very common in Kenya. There also is a preference for banks to mainly give money to people who are employed. In Kenya, most people are not employed. Most people are self-employed and on contracts. So when it comes to buying property in Kenya, most likely you'll need to save up for it in cash, or take a loan from your SACCO, or if you have another property, you can use that as security to take a loan and buy for your other property. But with the off-plan projects coming up, that gives an opportunity for people to buy property without any interest, and you get up to 3 years to pay for your property. So when it comes to finance, you'll mostly need cash. And at the very least, you will need a 20% deposit. So you can start saving up for that as you plan for your purchase. When it comes to taxes, what are the taxes that you expect to pay when you invest in property? One is the rental income tax, which is 7.5% per month of the gross rent collected before any expenses. When you're buying a property, you'll pay 4% stamp duty. And also, as part of your income, whether an individual or as a business, you'll be taxed on different categories between 25 to 30% per annum. So those are the taxes you would expect to pay in real estate. When you sell, you will also pay a capital gains tax of 15%. Then when it comes to property maintenance, you should also keep those costs in mind. You'll need to pay service charge, which is payable monthly. You'll need to have a fund for repairs for your property. You'll need also to budget for marketing and agency fees when you're selling or renting your properties. So these are the main questions that I get from first-time buyers, and this will give you a roadmap on how to start when you're planning to buy real estate. Where do you start? What do you keep in mind? These are the main things that you need to know. So in case you have any questions, please share them in the comments below and I'll be able to answer them. I'll also share my email and you can reach out to me in regards to anything real estate.